Hello, my dear friends. Hello, my dear listeners. How are you all? I hope you are doing your best in your own situation to serve your duties with utmost honesty and love. So, let's start a new part from the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So let's start. Swami Dayananda Saraswati, the founder of the Arya Samaj, once paid a brief visit to Calcutta and stayed at a garden in the suburbs. Though already known as a great scholar, he had not yet made known his doctrines or founded his Samaj. Sri Ramakrishna visited the Swami and referring to him said to some of his disciples later on, I went to see him at the garden of Siti. He had a little power. I found his chest always read owing to congestion. Day and night he discussed the scriptures. With the help of grammar, he went on distorting the meaning of many passages of the Shastras. He seemed to have the ambition of doing something original, starting a new sect. Another great man whom Sri Ramakrishna met was Pandit Joy Narayan. This was what the master said about him. He was a great scholar but had no trace of egoism in him. He knew beforehand about his own death and prophesied that he would give up his body at Benares. It actually came to pass. Krishna Kishore was another great devotee whom Sri Ramakrishna frequently visited. He was a worshipper of Rama and lived at Aryadaho. Referring to him, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when a state of divine intoxication overpowered me, I could not endure the company of worldly people. I was mad after God and longed to listen to spiritual topics alone. I looked for places where the Mahabharata, the Bhagavata, or the Adhyatma Ramayana was to be heard. Occasionally, I went to Krishna Kishore of Aryadaho to hear him read the Adhyatma Ramayana. He had wonderful faith. He had been to Vrindavana. One day, feeling very thirsty, he came to a well near which a man was standing. He asked the man to draw some water for him. The man replied that he was of low caste and could not do so. Krishna Kishore told him to utter the name of Shiva and be at once purified. This he did and drew water from the well, and Krishna Kishore drank it without any scruples. On another occasion, a sadhu came to Aryadaha. Wishing to visit him, I say to Haladhari, Krishna Kishore and I are going to see a sadhu. Will you accompany us? Haladhari replied, what's the use of going to see a mere framework composed of the five elements? He used to study the Gita and Vedanta, and that was the way he talked. When I told Krishna Kishore about it, he flew into a rage and said, had he the audacity to speak like that? Is the man who worships God, meditates on Rama, and has sacrificed all for him to be slighted thus? Haladhari ought to know that the body of a devotee is of spirit all compact. It was Krishna Kishore's belief that once a man took his holy name, he was pure and spotless. Haladhari denied this and said that Ajamila too later on practiced austerities for God, proving that it was not enough to say Narayana once. This disgusted Krishna Kishore so much that he would turn his face away from Haladhari when he met him in the Dakshineshwar garden. One day he said to me, why have you thrown away your sacred thread? A cyclone of spiritual longing had blown off everything about me. It revolutionized my life. How could I take care of the sacred thread when even the cloth would not stick to its place? I said to him, if you ever become mad like me, then you will understand it. It actually happened. He himself became mad. He would sit alone in a corner of his house and mutter, Om. His people thought he was suffering from a nervous disease and consulted a physician. Krishna Kishore said to his physician, "Well, you may cure me of my illness, but not of saying Om." He suffered great bereavement when he lost two grown up sons. One of them, however, died uttering the name of Rama. Krishna Kishore said, "Ah, he should not be mourned as he took Rama's name at death. But still now and then the afflicted man would burst into tears." We shall conclude this chapter with an account of two young devotees about whom Sri Ramakrishna often spoke tenderly. Then were frequent visitors to Dakshineshwar, presumably about this period, and were named Govinda and Gopal. Govinda was an oilman's son and lived at Boranagar. Young as he was nevertheless full of devotion and spent much of his time in the company of Sri Ramakrishna, listening to his recital of his personal experiences and other religious topics. The master loved him very much and asked him to come to Dakshineshwar often. One day, the boy shouted his permission to bring his friend Gopal with him. Gopal often fell into trances when listening to discussions on spiritual subjects. One day, Gopal touched Sri Ramakrishna's feet and took his leave. He said that the world was too much for him, so he was departing from it. For some days the master had no news of the boys. Then Govinda came and told him that Gopal had passed away. The master was deeply touched by the news. Shortly after this, Govinda too breathed his last. So, my dear friends, today I am ending here. We will be back with a new start in the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansadev in the coming week. So, till then, be happy, be jolly, and keep praying. Shubhamastu.